Super Boss Perona is right around the corner. In today's video, I have 3 1 vs all teams that'll help you guys take down the 10-star event for this particular event without using any of the new characters or the new boosters from the KIZUNA Rare Recruit banner. Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, as I mentioned, we're taking a look at the Pirate Alliance KIZUNA Clash vs Perona, what the gimmicks do, what characters are boosted, what characters are going to be very, very good for the 10-star event. Now, I do want to preface that we are focusing on the 10-star event for this particular video. I have 3 1 vs all teams for you guys that should be able to help you guys take it down. Now, a lot of people like to use potions with these super bosses. Lots of people like to get very, very high levels, and hopefully these teams will definitely help you guys out with not only assists for ticket gains using a Bao Hung friend captain, if that's how you say her name, but also to do your own runs if you are looking to get those higher levels. But if you enjoy the video, if it helps you guys out, make sure to go down there, belt the like button for me, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. With that said, let's take a look at the teams, and let's take a look at what the Pirate Alliance Perona actually does. So from what you can see here, it's a bit of a novel with everything going on. There is a quick sight and dex variation of Perona for the 10-star. If you are building a 1-team versus all like we are today, we're focusing on cerebral characters that are both dex and int. Now, there are a bunch of boosted characters as well. I'm not sure if I actually got to them while I was scrolling in the start intro part, but characters like the waifu units and some old KIZUNA Rare Recruits and stuff like Crocdofi and whatnot, and Toki and all those legends as well, are going to be boosted with 15 turns of cooldown. So you can actually use stuff like Big Moms and Ulti and Hiyori, stuff like Vivi's actually boosted as well, which is kind of cool. And so you can do some stuff with those characters. But when we are building 1-team versus all, like I said, in this Super Boss KIZUNA 10-star, we're looking at Dex, Int, and Cerebral characters. On stage 2, the things you have to get around are Damage Reduction, Resilience, Threshold, Despair, and Special Bind. Plus there is Unfavorable Orb. So versus Quick, you have Damage Reduction and Threshold. Sai, you have the Resilience and Damage Reduction. And versus Dex, you have Despair and Special Bind with Unfavorable Orbs, but that's kind of whatever. With 1-team versus alls, I always like to find a unit that can do all of this. However, there's a lot going on here, so I do have 2 units for most of these teams that can actually help you out with that. For the final stage, there's immunity on every single one of them, which is super annoying, and utilizing the new Bao Hung is going to help out on this final stage. She gives you a full board of Wano slots, she removes damage null, and she gives you special reverse. So you're pretty much covered across all of that basis, and on the quick variation with the Wano Orb barrier, you have the 2 Wano Orbs there as well, so that's going to be super easy to deal with. The other things you have to get around are Paralysis, Attack Down, and Bind. They're the big 3 that you are looking at, because the Bao Hung unit, she just takes care of everything else. So very good characters to do that is stuff like the free-to-play Chopper is basically a direct replacement for the new Hiyori. He can remove Bind, Paralysis, and Attack Down all in his special. But other units like the Legend Film Red Chopper, Legend Hiyori, those types of characters are going to be very, very handy here as well. So that's the information. Shout out to the OPTC Twitter for the information provided. Let's take a look at the very first team now, which looks a little bit like this. So it's led by Corazon Law, and the big reason I'm using Corazon Law for this particular fight is Corazon Law actually just completely get around Despair. So for the second stage where we had the Despair, we don't have to worry about that on the Dex variation. As for the rest of Stage 2, the Damage Reduction, the Threshold, the Resilience, the Special Bind, we're utilizing a combination of Robin and Jinbei and KIZUNA Rare Recruit Milky. Now, KIZUNA Rare Recruit Milky can remove 6 turns of Resilience and Special Bind. She's also an Orb Booster, but that's whatever. Doesn't really matter. We just want her utility there. And then Robin and Jinbei can actually remove Damage Reduction and Threshold. Plus, we get a base stat boost with this unit. So that way we can just easily kill Stage 2 for all the variations. Like, super nice. On the final stage, we're utilizing our friend captain, Bao Hung. I don't know if I'm saying that right, by the way. I know someone said it's like Bei Haung. I apologize if it offends anyone. We're going to use that special on the final stage to get a full board of Wano slots for the quick variation. Now, utilizing that first, before Corazon Law, will actually give you a full board of Wano slots to get through the barrier. Every other variation, though, we're going to use our Corazon Law special first. Corazon Law will actually give us a full board of empty slots and just completely remove our slot change. The downside to Corazon Law, though, is they don't remove block slots. So they'll only be able to get the empty orbs for the Sai variation, not the other 2. So just be very, very mindful of that. But look, don't stress. I guess if you use Corazon Law first and then you use Bao Hung, she gives you int slots that technically get turned into Wanda with her boosted captain ability. So we'll have to wait and see there. But look, either way, you'll have a 5 times captain with Wano slots, or you'll have like a 5 points. What is Cora Law when you have empty slots? They're at 5.25, I think, if you have empty slots. So like, it's not that big of a difference. Obviously, Cora Law make empty slots more powerful, and then they're an attack booster as well. But look, either or, whether you have the Wanda slots, whether you don't have the Wanda slots, it's going to be fine. But Cora Law, they're your attack booster for the team as well. And then with the Film Red Chopper, we can give ourselves color affinity and 50% resistance getting around the bind on the final stage as well. So that works out pretty nicely there. And to get around the paralysis, we have a combination of the super class of Corazon Law that can remove 3 turns of attack down and paralysis. And then we have the Bardo support for 6 turns. We also have the support of Luffy and Neko on our Chopper and our Corazon Law. That way we can get around the 6 turns of attack down, and it all works out pretty hunky-dory with our good old friend Corazon Law as a captain. The final unit on the team is Vivi. Now, Vivi's actually boosted, as I mentioned at the start of the video, so she's actually getting 15 turns of cooldown. She's doing double damage. She's very, very good because she has type advantage against the dex variation, so that way you have at least 2 units with type advantage on every stage. Plus, she's your orb booster for this team, which is really, really fun. So, that's the first team, Corazon Law, getting it done. The second team was actually built by my alliance members of Shiro and Tony, so shout out to those guys. Again, we're using the Baohung friend captain to take care of all of the shenanigans on the final stage that revolve around that annoying shit like damage and all and whatnot. But Queen is actually the captain. Now, Queen is very, very strong. Very, very strong captain ability, especially when you have Wano orbs. And with this new unit being able to give you Wano slots, you're a 5.75 times captain. He also has a captain action that ignores defensive effects. So that way you can actually get around the damage reduction and the threshold. But on top of that, you can actually get around the resilience as well with his special, because he actually does end of turn damage. So that way you're pretty much hunky-dory. As for the dex variation, though, we do have this Stussy. Now, Treasure Map Stussy recently got a buff. Crazy, right? But she's also boosted for this event. Doesn't matter, though, because she's only got 6 turns for cooldown. The big upside to Stussy is she removes Despair, she removes Special Bind, and she's a color affinity booster. So, when you're using Stussy on turn 2 to actually get around those annoying effects, and you're getting her color affinity there, you'll have Queen's color affinity for the final stage. But as for the other 2, you can use Queen's captain action, which you pretty much use on every stage anyway. Well, stage 2. And then you'll have Queen's color affinity for the final stage. So you're covered on both bases there. To get around the bind, we have Hiyori. Remember, bind does pop up on 2 of the variations there, so make sure to have her in the bottom right-hand corner, just like we had Chopper. She's going to also give us a full board of block orbs as well, but she has the support of Izo and Kiku for 2 turns of paralysis removal, which makes her very, very good. As for Robin and Jinbei here, they are going to be our chain booster and our paralysis remover, thanks to the Mr. 1 supports. Plus, they can give us base stats, but look, they're really just here because we just want that support. So, honestly, a better option from this Robin actually now, so I'm actually changing the Shiro team, is using Crocodile. If you have Treasure Map Crocodile will give you a chain boundary effect, plus the Mr. 1 support will actually do a little bit more damage there. The downside is you lose the double color affinity with Robin and Jinbei. It's kind of what makes them so nice. But, just looking at the information, I don't think there is any, yeah, there's nothing on the final stage that needs that damage reduction or anything like that. So, Crocodile, this team is actually going to do bits now. Finally, we have Uta. She's our attack booster. She's our orb booster. You can bink her on turn 1. That way you get that crazy effect on the final stage, and you're pretty much hunky-dory there. So this team should work very, very nicely. It's actually going to do a lot of damage. It has 2 units that have color affinity on every stage. And then obviously with Beihung hitting everyone. So that's the Queen team. Very, very nice stuff. As for the boosted team, if you guys have all the boosters, just like myself, I'm going to be running something like this with Queen. The idea with this is because I have 2 Beihung. You know what? Let's actually read what her name is. It's meant to be like Beihung. Again, I apologize if I fucked that up. We're going to be using our Beihung on stage 2 to give us a full board of Wano slots. Then we can get an attack boost with Reiju. We can stockpile the attack boost with Pudding, and then we can get an orb boost with Doflamingo and lock the Wano slots that we get. Doflamingo gives us a 2.25 orb boost as long as our captain is driven or cerebral, and then we're also utilizing the captain action of Queen to actually get through that very annoying damage effect on stage 2. You do need Pudding to be leveled in Rate Plus for this team to work as well, because then we're going to use her special on the final stage. We can remove the Despair with her, because now she's 3 turns, and then Hiyori just gets around literally everything on the final stage, and then the other side is the other Beihung. So the damage null, the special reverse, the blind paralysis, despair, all that annoying stuff is just covered with this team. So that's what I'm going to be using. You do need Caesar support too to get around the resilience, so just be mindful of that. So that's the full booster team. The final team, I probably wouldn't recommend this team per se, but I really wanted to do some shenanigans with Law and Queen, because you can't get any conditional on this particular fight, because there's full immunity on everything, and you could use Robin, but she's not boosted on the middle variation, so like you definitely could bring her, and I feel like if we're doing like big damage teams, she's going to turn up, which I'll do them later down the line. Once we sort of get into the swing of Kizuna and whatnot, there'll be a lot of Kizuna videos coming out, so make sure to hit the bell notification if you guys haven't done so already. But the idea of this team, led by Wanda, is Wanda will get through all those damage reduction effects very similar to Queen with their special on turn 2. And with being a captain, they actually get around resilience because they have end of turn damage. The downside is Queen and Beihong aren't getting the full 5 times captain ability, because Wanda doesn't actually boost Driven with their captain. They only boost Fighter, Slasher, Striker, Cerebral, and Powerhouse characters. So everyone else gets the double boost except for Queen and except for Beihong, which is a bit annoying because Beihong would probably be your biggest hitter as their boosted stats. I chucked the Kaido support on Queen just for a little bit more, but like it is what it is. The idea of this team is as well to remove the special bind on stage 2. You have Marco, and then on the other variations he can get around the paralysis on the final stage. So that's quite nice. But the main upside to him is he actually has the Whitebeard support. Finally, I really want to showcase this Chopper. This Chopper is almost a direct replacement for Hiyori. He does 5 turns of everything that Hiyori does, plus he's a color affinity booster for the final stage. But the idea here is that Hiyori will actually do 6 turns of bind, paralysis, and attack down, where this Chopper does 5 turns. So if you can just bring like 1 support to get around the rest of them, plus this Chopper actually has the Neko support, which does 2 turns of bind, 2 turns of attack down. So you just need one turn of paralysis removal somewhere, and you'll actually get around it that way too. So works out fairly nicely, this particular team. I don't see you having any issues early, but later down the line, because you do have 2 hitters that aren't hitting with a 5 times captain, you might be short on damage there. It also depends on how like stage 2 goes as well. But ideally, I do think these 2 teams here, this one here with a Queen leader, or this one here with Cora Law, are going to be the best 2 to go for. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go down there, bell, like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.